Welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And Ron.
What's happening?
And today we got a whole lot of Premier League to talk about, which really just means the special one
Our
pod.
third sacking in the third year.
Yep. Boom. And we're going to talk a little bit of, apparently MLS has been listening to the pod. There's been some changes to the MLS playoff system.
Don Garber totally listens.
You're welcome.
But now, before we get to our beer, can I just talk about the fact how good that can crack is for the opening of our song?
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that is literally from
The first
episode when our sound was the worst.
Is it really?
I mocked it, that whole thing
Did I not know
together.
that?
Yeah, it's tap, tap, crack. It's
Yeah.
me tapping, I think, a Guinness. In the first episode, we all just were quiet when it happened. Since then, we have opened many cans, and I have always listened to try and get a better one. Not a one. And every time I still hear, I'm like, I don't know why. A happy little, like Bob Ross says, happy little accident. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been a special behind-the-scenes feature of the Brewtiful Game. You're welcome.
Behind the scenes for me? I didn't even know that either.
It was a 21st Amendment brew free or die can.
You are right.
You had that.
I had that.
Ron, you had a Allagash?
Yep.
And you had the Pacifico. Yep. You're right. 21st Amendment Brewery, Live Free or Die IPA. Or Live Free or, what is it? Live Free or Die IPA? Something like that.
Die Hard.
It's
Great Christmas movie.
Yeah. Brew free or die IPA.
It's an okay Christmas movie, but it's not the best one.
Yippee-ki-yay, mother.
The best one's
I beat
Gremlins.
myself there. You're welcome.
That's Gremlins.
Gremlins?
There's
I've never
nothing-
seen Gremlins, to be honest with you. Yeah, no.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, you got okay.
Sorry. I can't say pull shit, so I haven't never seen Gremlins. Sue me.
Well, that might happen after the Boxing Day matches.
We're going to have to sue you.
So Ron is actually the beer guy again for the day, as he is killing us.
Why do you say it like that?
No, it's just that like fairs have a lot to live up to because there've been all these crazy around the world, super rare, hard to find beers and stuff. So, unless Ferris and I are going to Zimbabwe tomorrow or something to get something random that no one could find, it's gonna be hard pressed
One could hope.
to beat you for a little bit.
Have passport. We'll search for beer.
World beers hashtag. But I do have a listener beer.
Cool.
Provided by a very special Mr. Jason Horn on his travels. Ron, if you will pass me that, just keeping its koozie before I reveal it.
Liverpool fan, Jason Horn?
Yes, Jason Horn, who's a very happy guy right now.
Yes.
So
he should be at the
first
moment.
off, let me tell you about this beer. The beer is brewed.
Please don't tell me Liverpool. Please don't tell me
No, Three Taverns Brewery. Is the name of the brewery.
Like it?
Anybody ring any bells yet? Nobody knows?
Three Taverns.
All right, cool. This is cool. Their story is it began with a European road trip in the summer of 94. Found three friends rattling around the continent in an old Puget, affectionately dubbed Hotel Le Car. An improvised itinerary landed the trio unexpectedly in Belgium on the night of Brussels Omegang Festival. Holy crap, that sounds awesome.
What a cool...
That's a great origin story.
Yeah, like, we just happened to be there.
Especially if they didn't even know. If that's their first introduction to awesome beer. It was here that Brian Purcell, today the Three Taverns founder, first discovered the wonder of beer brewed by Trappist monks. It was in that moment a seed was planted, though it took many more years to take root. He talks about getting like a homebrew kit, but it wasn't until 2005 after Brian moved to a Decatur, Georgia neighborhood within walking distance of his now favorite pub that the homebrew kit came off the shelf. For the first batch, Brian marveled that brewing satisfied something in his soul that he didn't know it was missing. And it says the Three Taverns Craft Brewery was born. The first official beer was poured to a welcome public July 19th, 2013.
Cool.
The beer that we are going to have, I wish I'd have had it last week.
Okay.
But this is still timely. The beer that we are going to have is called the Rowdy and Proud, a collaboration beer with the Resurgent Supporters Group from Orlando United. A Rowdy and Proud is loaded with a Huell melon mosaic and Amarillo hops, low in bitterness and bursting with flavors of melon, cantaloupe, honeydew, a hint of strawberry with slight citrus undertones. And you can actually go on the website and see a video of the creation of the beer. It's
From Atlanta United? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did say Atlanta, not Manchester, right? Yes,
I think you said Orlando United for a second.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, did I say Orlando?
I think you said Orlando.
sorry.
I was like, what? Huh?
Atlanta United.
Great group name. That great.
Well, that's what was because it's called Rowdy and Proud. Because our supporter group,
or Rowdy,
or the ruckus, but yeah.
Okay.
But so the Rowdy and Proud this is the Resurgence is the name of the supporters group from Atlanta United.
That's where Little John's from.
Yeah, so I'm excited to try this. It's an Indian Pale Ale. with Huell Melon, Mosaic, and Amarillo hops.
Amarillo.
Yeah, so, and it's a good thing to bring up because
Cool, I'm looking forward to this.
in the last pod, we got a little sidetracked because we were so annoyed at the playoff system at MLS. I don't know if we gave enough due to Atlanta and how well they did for their season and for the championship game. So we hoist this one up in honor of a great season.
Very well done, ATL.
Atlanta United had.
And Joseph Martinez. MVP.
Oh, yeah. Great season. All right. So, this thing smells.
Thank you, Mr. Horn.
Very fruity. Yeah. He was back home visiting Georgia and was like, I think you guys would appreciate this.
Perfect.
It is super floral. Wait till you guys smell this. Like,
You said it has Mosaic and Amarillo hops, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's got a pretty clear golden straw color. Oops, sorry about that.
There you go.
Golden straw color. It's looks like it's got a pretty crisp. It's got a crisp smell to it, and it's got really good head retention.
On the can, it says,
Ooh, I love that smell.
It says, we are the A from way down south, and we are here, rowdy and proud. Melon, berry, citrus, juice explosion.
So that 5 times fast.
There you go. So all our beers today are actually going to be 12 ounces that we're splitting and doing tastings from. Well, there we go. This thing smells
so good.
Woo, fantastic. Here we go. Cheers, gents.
Santa.
Way to go, Atlanta United. Good season. Whoa.
Man, that is not what you expect.
No, not at all.
No. Man, that's a
very floral hop profile.
it's super hop forward, but it's not aggressive.
Yeah,
It's very present.
Yeah, it's definitely not like Skull Splitter or any of those in the.
Or it's like a Stone IPA or something that's
Yeah.
like, although it smells like a Stone IPA, it's so strong in hops.
But it's also a very flowery hop as opposed to your normal citrus.
Yeah, it's definitely
push.
bitter on the back, but not.
It's
not
kind of
too
like a
bad.
flat, plain bitter.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't hit too hard.
Right.
I can imagine on a hot Atlanta day, this is a pretty friggin' good beer.
Oh, that's tasty. Well done, Jason Horn.
Oh man, and Atlanta United. I apologize that I said Orlando United. My bad. I know someone's going to say something about that.
They'll get over it.
I'll edit it out. No, I'm too lazy.
I was going to say, that'd be a first.
Yeah, it takes too long to edit out all of Ferris's bleeps.
You're welcome.
Man, that's a good beer. All right. And then Ron has the rest for the day.
Oh,
So we will move on to talk a little Premier League. We'll go fly around the league for a few of the matches.
All I really want, Premier League.
That's your tribute to Little John's new Kool-Aid Christmas.
And to Mr. Horn, who showed you that.
He also gave us that wonderful, all I really want for Christmas. It's stuck in my head so bad.
It's everything on my wish list.
Oh, man. So our first match is Tottenham at home. They beat Burnley, which is not really a shocker, except that took a long... the score line is not a shocker. How it went down is...
Points, you mean? Yeah.
Burnley held on.
Away from home.
Woo.
Yeah, that was more reminiscent of the Burnley from last year
Absolutely.
than any of the games they've played this season so far.
Yeah, strong defense. Doesn't matter who you are. They're going to make your life a pain in the butt.
True story.
It was for Tottenham. Not quite their shooting boots on, for the day. Only 1 goal in the end. But they held 70% of the possession, 15 shots, 3 on target.
Really didn't feel like until those last 5 minutes though, where I felt, they're going to get one. Burnley kind of held on till it felt like they were going to hold it, but man, those last 5 minutes, Tottenham just was on so much, and Burnley was getting tired.
Yeah, and I think that, away from home, this is at home. Burnley probably have a little bit more energy and a little bit more wanting to play for the fans. The game suited them for the most part, though. It was a rainy, just wet night, and Tottenham, not necessarily the best conditions to play the style of ball that they like. Keep the ball on the ground, play fast, get in between the channels, run up and down. Yes, the ball gets a little bit slick, but there's a little bit too much rain for that, where the ball could get bogged down a little bit too often. So kind of played in the hands of Burnley, and a couple of good saves from was Joe Hart in goal there for
Yes.
Burnley from Joe Hart, and it's not quite the shooting boots until really, really late for Tottenham. Hell of a time for Christian Eriksen to get his first goal of the year.
Didn't know that was going to be such a good game to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a surprisingly fun match. I really thought Tottenham were just going to roll over them, 3-1, 4-1, something like that. But good job, Burnley.
A 91st minute goal and a 90+4. So,
which unfortunately leaves Burnley still sitting in the relegation zone.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And that was due to a big win, which we'll get to in a little bit, by somebody else that kind of propelled them. Pushed them down into below the line and pushed the other team to above the line for the time being.
But they have 12 points, Huddersfield with 10, and they both have negative 18 goal differential at this time. So Burnley still dire. Looked like they were going to have an amazing 1 point to hold on to, but it was not meant to be.
No, it was not.
And it should be said that keeps Tottenham in third place, or it secures them a third place spot when the weekend's done.
Correct. 2 points up on Chelsea at the current moment, and 5 points back of Manchester City in second.
Then this rolls us around to, and your headline, hell of a time for Eriksen to get his first in the league.
Yep.
Perfect timing.
Perfect timing, yep.
Our next match, Wolves at Bournemouth. The Wolves came out swinging.
Oh, yeah, they did.
2-0 over Bournemouth. Bournemouth having a little bit of a rough patch right now.
Yeah, and a lovely kind of pass up the center and then pass across to Jimenez for the first goal, kind of wide open on the other side there. Just it looked like one of those NFL plays where a quarterback throws to receiver that's just out in the open. And you're like, what the hell happened? Just blown coverage. Like the entire Burnley's defense got caught towards the ball and backside for Jimenez there, and he just calmly and coolly just buried it. And that was in the 12th minute?
Yep.
Real early. So, yeah, they came out firing.
And this puts Bournemouth down into 11th, which is the first time they've been in the bottom half.
And they were up in, I think they were in 7th or 8th as of last week. So Wolves and Bournemouth here did a little bit of a swap, because now Wolves is in 7th, 1 point behind Manchester United, and Bournemouth is in 11th on 23 points on a -3. And so kind of a little bit of a swap there and a little bit of a downswing for the old pod favorite Cherries.
But Wolves, who've also been kind of a favorite this year, and Lee said now they're sneaking up at 7th.
Yeah, they're quietly creeping the table.
Yeah.
I really think what we talked about a couple of weeks ago was Wolves have been on a really great upswing since beating Chelsea 2-0. And they've managed to carry that momentum into even through, I want to say they lost one match, one or two. Anyway, they've managed to keep that momentum as far as their style of play. They're creating much better chances.
They won one since they won one since Chelsea. They beat Newcastle 2-1,
which also hard fought. But I think their style of play has been much better since beating Chelsea. They play with a bit more confidence, a bit more attacking teeth than they have, I think, previous in the season.
Well, it's kind of how they started off the year, though, right? Because then they weren't they one of the ones along with Watford who kind of came out firing, and scoring goals and getting a quick start, and those two were in the top four for a bit there until it kind of all then evened out, and now we're back to what the usual six kind of look like. But absolutely, they kept the ball on the ground here against a Bournemouth team who a little bit of a slide now away from home though for Bournemouth. Bournemouth not the best on the road. They play very well when they're down there on the South Coast. So
Callum Wilson in this game?
He was in
the previous game.
Yep.
Yeah.
I believe he was, though.
Yeah, they've actually kind of had the slip ever since they lost to Man United when Man United came back.
Yeah.
And snatched that victory.
True. Yeah, and I mean, they'll kind of, that's part of the reason they'll go up and down in terms of, part of the reason being that they play such an attacking, expansive side of ball, but they don't have quite the talent as a Man City do or a Chelsea do. So yes, they will nick points and they will nick goals and they'll be fun to watch, but throughout the year they'll have this roller coaster effect because games where they need to get stuck in, if you will, and play a little bit more defensive and put in a tackle and do all that, Bournemouth won't necessarily do, especially away from road, at home where they kind of need to sit in and just absorb and then counter. It's not the Bournemouth style. So, yeah, throughout the year, they will kind of have this and kind of go up and down. And unfortunately, that's why they'll always kind of be mid-table-ish here, which for Bournemouth, freaking fantastic.
If they can end in the top
Always,
10,
yeah.
Yeah. Although I still feel like they got a chance to do more than that this year.
Right. And they have had a rough streak of it as late. They lost to Liverpool last match 4-0. Did beat Huddersfield, but who doesn't nowadays? And lost to City 3-1. Lost to Arsenal 2-1. Lost to Newcastle 2-1. Lost to United 2-1. And then before that, beat Fulham 3-0. So a little bit of a tough run there in terms of not United, Newcastle tough run, Arsenal tough run. Those a little bit of a slide, but did get a win in there and getting in. If they can pick up a few points in this crazy holiday season we're about to get into, then
40 fixtures starting tomorrow.
Yeah, 40 matches in 14 days.
It's so crazy.
Say what?
I love it.
Yeah, you'll see maybe some shifting in the top and definitely some shifting in the bottom, I think, after these.
Yeah.
After these days, these festive fixtures passes by.
And everything in between.
And then because it's real tight in the middle. And then over to Fulham at home against West Ham. Guess what? A team scores multiple goals on Fulham again. Who'd have thought?
That never happens.
A team that has actually been playing very well because guess what? They're all the way up to 9th now
with
on
one of our
zero goal difference.
With one of our favorite players,
Snodgrass.
Yeah.
Who puts one in the 17th?
Yeah, nice just side foot swipe top corner from the box. Yeah, lovely.
And West Ham they were having some struggles, but now they sit in 9th place.
Yeah. What's crazy is West Ham was behind in pretty much all of the stats. Their possession was less, 44-56. Fulham actually controlled this game better than West Ham did. The difference is West Ham could put away their chances.
Exactly, because shots on goal were only 4-3, but you're right. I mean,
yeah,
West Ham buried them.
And they outshot them 16-6. So Fulham had the lion's share of the shots and the shots on target, and they just couldn't bury it.
Poor Fulham. Negative 26 goal differential.
Ouch.
With only 9 points.
Yeah, so are we calling it relegation?
Oh, I mean, I don't see any way
I don't know. I think it's still
them.
too early for that, but because I mean, they're only one win off of being in 17th.
What did we say the worst goal differential was? We looked it up. Like they were already there.
It was something.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Or something.
Yeah, like it
wasn't good though.
Yeah, they're so above where they or below where they should be at this point comparative to the record holder. Moving on next, we've got Southampton at home. Did they say that was the first time in 8? How long had it been since Southampton had won at home?
It's been a long time.
That's one of the big stats in the game. I'm gonna have to look that up. But Southampton beat Arsenal 3-2, snapping Arsenal's undefeated streak. Southampton come in
22 game undefeated streak.
That's right. Southampton, that sideline looks a lot different with their new coach.
Yeah, agreed.
Who was he again? What's his name? His name?
Can't remember. I can't pronounce his name.
Okay, which probably means Ferris can, because Ferris just can't say Pulisic.
Yeah, I can say all the other weird.
But the atmosphere.
Hassenholt?
Yes, that sounds right.
Ralph Hassenholt?
The atmosphere at
his name is cool because it's got an umlaut.
It's got so you know it's cool. The atmosphere completely different there.
Gross.
Which is what they need. If he can turn strikers loose, they could stay up.
He is he's like Klopp's younger cousin.
Yeah, he's got that energy and that vibe about him.
So Southampton pinged one off the post late in the second half, I want to say. And he was almost on the field and then was like, "Oh, everybody calm down. Everybody calm down."
Yeah.
So I like the passion.
I do agree. And I agree. If he can get his strikers playing well, because that's what's going to kind of keep them up. Danny Ings with a brace in this game and then a lovely goal by the substitute at the time, Charlie Austin, which sealed the deal in the 85th.
And if you are struggling and have not won at home, and I got to look it up, it's a long time, and you beat Arsenal to get you out of the relegation zone that week,
and snap a 22 unbeaten streak by them.
What a huge morale boost for both the club, the fans,
absolutely,
and huge motivation to continue that, especially with a brand new manager, and you can come in, you can wrestle away a victory from Arsenal. That's just got to propel you forward.
Yeah, and it's not like they lucked into this win here where they snatched something late or they got one off the post or anything like that. No, it was fairly even. They only had 34% of the possession, but
They
12
outshot-
shots.
Yeah.
To 13 for Arsenal, 7 on goal from Southampton, only 4 from Arsenal. So in that category, they're putting more shots on goal, which gives you a higher chance to get the ball in goal. And if you have Danny Ings and Shane Long and Charlie Austin and Redmond and some of these more attacking-minded goal scorers playing and putting the ball in the back of the net, that's only going to get confidence.
Yep.
It's only going to build it. And maybe, who knows, going to go into this holiday time, get a couple points here, a couple points there, see if you can inch a little bit further up the table, because did someone say it earlier? This is the first time I think they've been above the red line all year?
That is correct.
Yeah. And come on, they had not won at home this season, at least I know, but I think it's been even. I feel like it's been further back since that. But yeah, like his attitude, running around, him like fist pumping because of slide tackle.
Yeah,
him running onto the pitch afterwards, so they apologize. Sorry, I had to run to my guys. That's huge. And he first game in, he promised to push the team harder than they had been pushed.
And boy, did he!
They did, man. And they, Arsenal got pushed around and spread a lot. Now, Arsenal had some issues. Rob Holding out with that serious injury for the season, and then Xhaka and
Lichtsteiner playing in a back three.
No, they were suspended.
No. Xhaka played. He was in the back three though with Lichtsteiner and Koscielny, who just came off of injury. That's a rough.
Who
back
was
three.
Suspended? Because somebody got suspended too. So we were down.
Mustafi, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was. So like the defense was in a
there was a little patchwatch.
That's a rough back three. So. And the streak was bound to end at some time.
Sure.
Were you thinking Southampton? Probably not. But it was, and at home though. I'm sorry. It was down at the South. It was down at the St. Mary's. But
actually, I did kind of figure it would be to a club like this during this festive time.
It's a very Arsenal way to do it.
Yeah. Well, and plus, like you said, you've got them coming in with a new coach. There's a lot riding on it. True. Southampton comes with some pep.
And a patchwork back three from Arsenal,
Yeah, and in my opinion, the best part of this match was listening to St. Mary's sing. Southampton has one of the best supporter, like their songs and the chants.
Yeah.
Just listening to hear the entire stadium sing when the Saints go marching in is... just great every time.
Do you know what the official name of the stadium is? The full name?
No. St. Mary's. Past that, I don't know.
The Friends Provident St. Mary's Stadium.
Huh.
Yeah, I didn't know that. 29,497 on hand.
They were full voice.
Friends Provident St. Mary's Stadium.
And that place, I mean, that's what the football's all about. Like the vibe of how that was going. Like, the way that felt at the home crowd. Like, I mean, would I have liked Arsenal to get 3 points? Sure. But it was real awesome to see Southampton win the way they did. And I don't think they're going to have to worry. They're going to have to worry about getting relegated. I don't think they're going to. I think this can turn things around for them because they have some talented scorers. The other clubs, which I know are just below them, so at this point, and it's just one match. That manager, though, that kind of attitude, that could turn some things around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that confidence to snatch that in a slugfest with Arsenal.
Snag you some defender something during the January window for Southampton
and for Arsenal.
But Southampton for relegation purposes, they're in a relegation fight,
and Arsenal needs to just grab it. Period, because they are spotty right now at the back line.
Oh yeah, it's thin on the line. But you know what? I mean, look, this it's cool. There's a lot more good going on with Arsenal than bad. So I certainly wasn't expecting to go on a 22 game
and you didn't get like
in the first
blown
place.
out. You lost 3-2 with a goal in the 85th. It's not.
I don't watch this game and go, well, there it goes. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I'm sorry. It was today. It was the game against Tottenham for the Chupacabra Cup.
Chupacabra Cup.
That Xhaka and someone else were suspended in that. That's the one.
Oh, okay.
I was like, no, they were just, but it was that match.
Samsonite.
Which they also lost. But they were severely.
They lost to Tottenham in that one.
Bad backline situation. Yeah. So that was rough. Woof. I do want to talk about this relegation real quick before we go on to the Liverpool Man United match. Netflix just threw up a documentary series. I don't know if you guys seen the trailer for it. Yeah. It's called Sunderland Till I Die.
I watched the first episode. It's real good. But if you followed the championship last year, then you know how the season essentially ends. But it's very interesting, and it has me hooked because it's very well done.
The trailer had me completely hooked because I said, I know how this season goes. So
right,
I'm very excited about that.
It's gonna happen. Yeah,
there's a kind of a trend starting with
the Amazon Prime one that I haven't seen.
The
Man City one. Yeah.
Well, they're also covering in the American football. It's like the it's like the Cardinals and the Rams. But there's this kind of trend now.
Follow a team.
Yeah, that they're following a team or two teams and kind of making a like docu-reality show out of it.
It's kind of opening the
getting ready
backstage door there and just going, come on,
pulling the back curtain, pulling the curtain aside. They're getting ready to release 2 for the NHL as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Well, Sunderland Till I Die. Cool. Highly recommended.
Oh, they did that with the NHL a few years back. It was the lead up to the New Year's Day game, the outside game that they play every year. And they did that. It was on HBO a few years back where they did like a 4-part episode. And that was very good as well. I don't remember what it was called offhand, but yeah, the Sunderland one's good. Like I said, I watched the first episode the other night. There's also something on, if you guys haven't seen this, it's on Netflix and it's called The Football Factories. It's with Danny Dwyer, and he is this like Cockney, like just. I think he's London. He could be Midlands. He's somewhere there, and he starred in the real football factories of England, where he played this actor, and it was all about supporter groups and the violence behind him and the fighting and all of this and the pride support. So what he does is it's like a documentary where he goes to various clubs throughout the South Coast, throughout the Northeast, throughout the Central London area, and he goes to a few, and each episode is about that. And it's cool. He walks around. I'm Danny Dwyer, and we're gonna go here, and we're gonna talk to Paddy with the Burnley supporter club, and they're one badass motherfuckers, and he's just like walking around, and it's awesome. It's pretty like it's hard to sometimes. Watch it and pay attention. You might even need subtitles because some of the accents are kind of hard to follow. But it's good, and it kind of gives you a little bit of a light on what football in England during some of the I won't say the dark years, but through the 70s, through the mid to even late 90s, where it was all about drinking, fighting, supporting your club. You know, a lot of that's been kicked out of the game now, rightly so. But it's an interesting. Watch. It's on the old Netflix.
Nice. Before we go to this next beer, because next game, because we have 3 more beers to get through. Should we? Looks like you gents are all done.
Let's do it
with the what was this one called again? The Rowdy and Proud from Three Taverns Brewery. So would you do the first one from Ron?
Atlanta.
I think Decatur, technically. Yeah.
Decatur. Where'd you get that Decatur from?
Yep, Decatur, Georgia.
That like, do you remember the Degusitator?
Oh, the Decatur Degusitators. That needs to be made. Three Taverns Brewery. Get on it.
Is that the name of the?
It's one of the beers.
One of the beers from the World Cup. Yeah. The top one in one country.
The Degusitator.
The Degusitator.
Yeah. But the Decatur Degusitator sounds like the name of somebody would name their car that.
Yeah, that's the Decatur Degusitator.
Their tractor, not their car.
It's the DDG. All right, so going back to some New Zealand beers. As
Jackie Pendergrass
Jackie
shining back
Pendergrass.
up.
if you haven't listened to the past, I don't know, 3 podcasts or so,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
took a trip to New Zealand, and the entire time, all I did was try beers and put them all over our social media. So you can go back and check out our social media for all the places I went and checked out beers. But Montheith's Brewery in New Zealand, they have a pretty cool history. I'm going to hit you with a little bit of it. New Zealand was a hard place to live in the mid-1800s. Pioneers put in long hours of backbreaking work to tame the land and extract gold and coal, particularly on the west coast of the South Island. The region's natural resources were a magnet for miners and loggers, grocers, blacksmiths, taverns, all kinds of stuff. Brewers also showed up a lot. So by 1868, this village in Greymouth, which is on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand, had 3 breweries, 100 pubs along its area. And so there's this big rush, kind of like the USA had the gold rush, and then it all crashes, and only 4 breweries out of the 28 of them that eventually it grew into survive the collapse. And this one guy, Stuart Montheith, takes over the reins of
Stuart Montheith.
Yeah, that's
Singing
a good
some
one. Yeah.
old-
Him and Jackie Pendergrass, good old
Yeah.
friends. He takes over the reins of a brewery called Phoenix Brewery, and essentially takes over all of the other breweries that were left and creates Montheith's Brewing Company. So there it is to this day, serving some regular staples of Pilsner, Black, Golden, and original brews. They have summer and winter ales. Really solid beers. You can find them all over New Zealand. So if you go, you can get them pretty much everywhere.
What did you just
Sorry.
do?
Sorry. Sorry, I can't get it to turn off.
Our technical idiot.
So unprofessional. I apologize.
Oh no, you're fine.
It was a goal that US. Go ahead.
Do you want to keep digging?
No.
You good? Okay.
What's the name of the brewery? One more time.
Montheith's Brewery.
Montheith's Brewery.
In Greymouth, Greymouth, New Zealand. It's on the South Island along the west coast. Slick little town. And the first beer from them tonight,
Da, 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 da.
an American Pale
that's
Ale.
cool.
You can tell it's American because it's got the
Oh, it's got the eagle.
eagle on it.
Oh, look at the bottle. Is that a shovel? In the bottle.
Oh yeah, sorry. In there is the minor shovels.
Oh yeah, not the shovel. It's not a shovel. It's called something. though,
Spade.
right?
I mean, like
Spade,
it is.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Yeah. But it's like it indented into the glass
Yeah.
bottle. That's cool.
And it's got the year the brewery was
That's
founded.
cool because the year being like kind of in the glass like that is so old
Same
school.
thing,
yeah.
Like, that's
1868. As we were talking about on previous beers, it's got a whole bunch of those labels of, in-house brewing and family owned, all that kind of stuff. But the back's got a ton of stuff on it that, I've never seen a beer have a breakdown of, protein, fat, carbs.
Oh.
They
that's
put
interesting.
all that on the back. It is an American Pale Ale at 5.7% ABV, celebrating the USA with Citra and New Zealand hops.
Cool. Look forward to trying this.
Lakeman Brewery also had an American Pale Ale that we tried called the Big Harry.
Yeah, the big hairy eye.
Yeah.
Yep. Even the top of the cap has the 1868 with the spade on it.
There you are, sir. Ooh, I'm excited for this.
Look at that for Mr. O'Hearn.
It's a nice
Bottle caps.
dark golden. It's not dark, but it's not a it's almost a reddish tint on this gold.
It almost
Beer.
looks lagerish.
Yeah. It doesn't a lot of times American Pale Ales, I think of them being a little bit darker because of the malt. Ooh, this smells fantastic.
Ooh, you're right.
I definitely smell some of the breadiness from the malt on there.
Mhm.
Holy cow, that smells good.
There you go. All right. Montheith Brewing Company.
Montheith.
Founded in 1868 on the west coast of the South Island of New Zealand. The American Pale Ale, 5.7 ABV. Smells amazing.
Yeah, it does.
Let's try
Great
it.
head retention. Cheers.
That's not exactly what I expected.
No.
It's good. It's
Kind of a dry
little
finish?
It's a little different than the normal of this style.
Yeah, because I think of like a Dale's Pale Ale or whatever that's you really hit the malt as well.
Yeah. This is
not malty at all, really.
No,
it's got that malt vibe that like a Pilsner or Kel has.
right.
You
It's
know,
a very subdued malt.
Yeah. But the hops are super. They're aromatic, not as aromatic as that last one. But that last one that was super
And
juicy.
it's kind of got a slight caramel aftertaste.
This is very drinkable. Like you'd sling these down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just getting into a fall beer. Like that little time between it getting cold for fall, but it's just past summer.
You just said something. It reminds me of the Sierra Nevada lager, the summer lager.
A little bit. That's
Yeah.
Because
good.
that's a hoppier lager.
Sure.
And this feels like a maltier pale ale, if that makes sense. It's like the other side of that coin. But it kind of makes me think of that a little bit.
It's definitely good.
Yeah.
Clean.
It's just not what I anticipated.
Right. It's a little off the style, which isn't necessarily bad.
Also, though, but these are going to be New Zealand hops,
Correct.
not American hops that
normal,
you typically
yeah.
have in an American pale ale, right?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's got a slightly different vibe. I dig it. I dig it.
Sweet, man.
Yeah, the last thing, it's got Citra hops in it, but you don't get much of that citrus that you normally get.
Well, mind you, too, those Citra hops, and I'm speaking to somebody, I haven't tried Citra hops to my knowledge separately, but Citra hops grown in New Zealand will taste different at the latitude and longitude they are grown in, say,
Sure.
around the Sierra Nevada
Right.
area, where that really plays a big difference in like the profile, like where they grow.
Sure.
So
I was only thinking that it was Citra from the U.S. because it said U.S. Citra.
never mind. I'm sorry. If it
I
says
could be
U.S.
totally
Citra,
wrong.
then no, you're right. Then that's going to be from the U.S. So hence that's why they're calling it the American Pale Ale. I think it's just not as malty as we're used to with American Pale Ales.
You're
That's all.
probably
Yeah.
right. It's good beer.
Another window from
Yeah, we haven't had
Take in the grass.
a bad.
deep down in the Pacific.
And don't forget his best buddy, Stuart Monteith.
Stuart Montheith.
Don't tell him
All right, now let's go on to the match you've all been waiting for. Liverpool hosting Manchester United.
Wow.
It's kind of went. It's not really a wow. I'm not trying to be a jerk. It's pretty much went like I thought it was going to go.
So here's why I think opposite than you. Manchester United has normally been standing up better against top 6 teams, top 10, all right, top 6 teams this season than they have any of the other teams. Not saying that they win or play well, but they seem to put up more of a challenge. In this, there was not any of that. There was very little life in Manchester United throughout. No consistency in that life. They had little sparks here and there and some really nice link-up play, but man, they were flat. So I expected it to be a little bit more of a challenge because a José Mourinho team is going to stand up and play defensively, but hit them on counters and create chances. None of that was there. So I was actually a little disappointed in this match. I think we have one person who just wants to just talk. Wonder who that is.
I can't tell.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. I mean,
I felt like I think I said this is my prediction for the game. I think they'll park the bus. It'll be like 0-0-1-1.
they certainly tried.
Yeah. Although it didn't feel like us parking.
No, they parked the bus. Like the The lineup was so odd for this game that as soon as the lineup came out, I turned to a friend and I went, we're done. Like I wasn't going into this game expecting we were going to win, which is a sad thing against Liverpool. We have not lost to them at Anfield in the past 5 years in the league. But there was no feeling that we'd come out of this game with 3 points. And that feeling was reciprocated by Jose and the lineup that he put out. You just knew it. And the play on the field showed that. You give Dalot, who's played 2, 3, 4 maybe games in the league, you give him a start in this highly anticipated match, which, again, we haven't lost to them at home in their home stadium in 5 years in the league. And you give him the start. I know Smalling went out early, or didn't go out early. He went out before the match even started due to an injury he picked up in, before the match. And Bailly came in, but Bailly had a very good game, all things considered. He played well coming in as a late sub. But you have a back 5-ish, maybe, of Lindelof, Bailly, Young, Darmian, Dalot. With Darmian playing essentially as an auxiliary center back. Kind of pulling what an Arsenal did the day before and playing like a Xhaka back there. Like, you're right. Yeah, Darmian plays a right back or left back, but doesn't transition to a center back, especially in a back three when you have Sané and Firmino and all of these players coming at you. And United never looked like they were going to win the game. They looked like, maybe we'll get out of here with the draw like we've done in the past few years. Because we got a pretty, we got a goal late in the first half, right before halftime, and went in, with a draw. I mean, it was, I wouldn't say fortunate, but yeah, it was a good bounce for us. It was a poor save by
Allison.
Yes, thank you. By him, he boshed it up and pushed it out, and Lingard was there. And okay, but that was it. It wasn't really created by a whole lot. It wasn't really.
Right. It's also not a screw up that Allison normally makes.
Correct. He right. He hasn't done that all year.
Yeah.
Mane's first goal was beautiful. How he took that ball out of the air and played it off like a kind of a half volley there. Oh,
off a chest volley.
Beautiful.
Catches it in the air.
It was gorgeous.
Right. Sends it underneath De Gea's leg. Just such composure.
Yeah. And they earned that goal. I mean, it was Liverpool in the first 10 minutes. They were taking shots, they were attacking, they were coming at us, and we were holding our own for a little bit. So it's like, all right, we might get out of this with a draw. Because we score one right before going into half, it's 1-1. You hold out the second half in this park the bus type mentality. But there was never like, we might nick them on a counter. We might get them on a corner. No. This was a Liverpool game that for the first time in 5 years, because they haven't beaten us in the league at home in 5 years, that they dominated. 64% of possession, 36 shots, 11 on target. They had 13 corner kicks. That's attacking wise, that's just dominating a game. And it did take Shaqiri coming in off the bench as a super sub who scored 2 goals. And yes, you can argue deflection. Some of those were lucky and fortunate, but it wasn't fortunate in the fact that, like us, we had 6 shots total, 2 on goal, and we get lucky and score a goal or 2.
Those balls.
No,
like they were.
It was a dominant performance. Like the dam was bound to break, and as soon as Shaqiri came on, the dam broke, and the floodwater just poured in.
I gotta say, I think Shaqiri, to edge a little, because I think it's hard to talk without doing it into our next topic, which is Jose himself. I think Shaqiri is the perfect example is why Jose has been fired. In that Shaqiri, cheap as dirt comparatively for Liverpool to snag up. He has had problems at other clubs. Klopp turns him into a team player.
And turns him into an impact player off the bench.
Jose has dropped $460 million on his players.
Well, or pounds, I forget which. Up there as well.
No,
we're not going to go in the race. No, but he's gotten more out of what he bought.
Yes,
and I agree with you on that, but a little bit of different take. Their sub, Shaqiri. Positive, attacking, bright, fast, strong, nice big thighs. Did you guys see that post from ESPN FC that was like don't want to miss leg day. And they showed this picture of Shaqiri with these just like, they're bigger than his entire body.
He's like Sanchez who?
Exactly. Our first sub coming out of half? Afroless. Marin Fellaini.
That's when you knew the game was over, right?
Hump the ball up to the big guy. Yes. So I agree. Yes, that is the reason, right? That's just a lot of ways why. And it was, Liverpool, they deserved this win, and they showed why they're at the top of the league. And it pains me to say that, and I hate saying that, but you can't argue it at the current moment.
It does feel like, the previous week was, holy crap, they got above Man City. I wonder how long they can hold on to that. This game, I was like,
they might hold it for a while.
They might hold this for a while. And this could be a really, really fun race for the rest of the year.
And the other side of that coin is, okay, Liverpool should have done this. First in the league against sixth in the league. Yeah.
Yeah, but it is
you
against
probably should have.
I'm not being
the
funny.
Biggest rivalry in the country,
also,
if not one of the biggest in the world.
I'm not trying to be funny. It is also against the special one. And you do anticipate, I kept saying, I think Jose will limp through the season. And I thought like games like this, he would get a miraculous draw or something. And
had he gotten a draw, he gotten a draw, he might have limped to the end of the year.
Because it's not just that they lost. It's, as Ron was saying, it is domination. How they lost.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was. Right. You can't deny any of the stats and how they played.
The two Robbies pointed this out, too. There are problems with players.
Problems, man.
Why is Pogba not brought into this game? The most expensive player.
Right.
Even if he's been having a rough time, why does he sit on the bench the whole? If you do that to him, man, come on, dude. That's got to be an affront.
It's an ego thing and trying to prove a point to Pogba. But I think that point was proven the past couple of games.
I do too.
Right.
And this would have been the game to be like, Pogba, we are home. We are at Anfield. You get out there and go make some magic happen.
And a little bit of fairness to Mourinho. Mourinho did come out and tout him and say, he's going to play against Valencia in our last Champions League game. We expect him to do good things. He's going to do
great.
Which
he did, and he did.
Pogba did not have a very good game that game. No.
I thought he scored one.
No, he didn't.
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive he didn't score. He did not have a very good game at all. He did not show, but I don't think that's so much of, I think that's Pogba just shutting off at that point for Mourinho. And we talked about it. When we have talked about that battle between those two and who's going to kind of win out. We haven't been the only ones talking about that. Half of the soccer world has, but if United are winning games without Pogba and they're producing points and they're producing a buzz around it and they're moving in a positive direction, that's one thing, right? Because then that shows maybe he's a bad egg. But if they're not, and they weren't,
right, and they haven't been,
at what threshold is the club going to say, okay, now we need to choose? Well, 2 days after this game, the club chose,
and
Mourinho got sacked.
They had no choice,
and I don't think anybody can argue with it. I can't argue with it. Yes,
no.
I wanted him to the end of the year.
It was literally 3 years and 1 day from when he was fired at Chelsea.
3 years.
Yeah, well, now he's fired in 6th place opposed to 16th or whatever it was.
Sure, but 11 points away from
19 points off the top
and 11 points from 4th place.
Right.
That's
right.
That's huge.
And again, I don't think you can argue the sacking. I really don't, and I get it. I'm a glass half full guy. I try to stay positive. He'll get it right somehow. It'll come good. He'll stay to the end of the year. I think everybody kind of thought, well, maybe he'll limp through.
No, I
thought
called
that.
it.
No, right? You absolutely did. And you know what I did? 7:30 in the morning when I woke up. Do you know who the first person I sent something to?
I'm pretty sure it was me.
No.
Oh, okay.
One more.
Cruz. Who?
Somalia?
The guy you met on the cruise.
You bet. That's why we became friends on Facebook, to stay on this the entire year.
What did he say?
I immediately shared the
if you missed
United
previous pods, Ron and Ferris went on a cruise to Alaska and met a big Man United fan.
He was our sommelier.
Yeah. Awesome dude.
And every night
we just went back and forth.
We would just all back and forth about José Mourinho.
And people
United.
thought we were almost like arguing at times.
Yeah,
we were having
so
a serious debate. It's like, no, he'd come over and be like, we would talk about that before we ordered drinks or anything or whatnot. Yeah. We didn't care about that. Who cares?
It would take us a half hour to order drinks. This is so great.
It was awesome. So I immediately, I'm sorry, at Tuesday at 8:58 a.m. I shared it on his timeline. Our buddy Daryl. I go, well, my friend, you were right. Well done with just some hands at clapping. Can't argue much with how the season has gone so far. Interesting to see who the caretaker will be, and then the full-time manager after that. Hope all is well. United. And then Daryl responded back a few hours later. Here you go. They took time to do it, but it finally happened. Thank you for saying thank you for realizing what I told you when we met. Like you said, let's see who will be the next one, and good luck to him because it's not easy to manage Man United.
That's awesome.
So he was on the other side of that and kind of was like, okay, thank you for saying that. I was right. And he was. And I can't argue with the sacking whatsoever, because if you're going to do it, now is clearly the time.
It's just,
and after you lose you lose the first time in 5 years to your, like, Van Gaal didn't even do that. Moyes, if he did it, it was like his first game away at Anfield, because we've only had 6 years in between.
And like you said, also dude, it wasn't a good game. It's not like it was It's not like it was a well fought match. And,
the complete other side of the field, and poor substitutions, poor style play, poor starting lineup, poor season just all around so far.
Well, and the thing that's crazy is José Mourinho has all these trophies that if you asked anyone, hey, you want 3 trophies for your club? Yes, I do. But okay, his weird rivalry with Wenger, and and he can hold. Hey, dude, I've done more than you numbers wise. But Jose coming in, is he only special when he inherits a situation and makes it a bit better? Can he build a team? Because what he's known for is winning fast and then leaving a club in a worse spot than it was when he came in.
He built a team with Chelsea, and he put them back on the map. He did, when he came to England and pronounced himself as the special one, he did that with Chelsea. But he then went on, and he also did that with Porto, and when they won, or not was he also won it with them to win the Champions League, and then moved. Was it Porto? I'm thinking, for some reason that might not be right, but anyways, then moved on to Inter Milan. Won a Champions League, won the league there. Real Madrid didn't win a Champions League, but beat the Barcelona Pep team that had dominated for years. Then went back to Chelsea and did it again. So the man's pedigree has been wonderful. I think his style and the players we had at United at the time and who he's brought in, we'll keep with him, hasn't worked. And it hasn't been that style. It's not the United style. Yes, I think he cared about the club. He wanted to do well for the club, all of that, but it just wasn't that right fit. That things mashed together where in other clubs it has. Like the Inter Milan team. He had to make a couple of moves, but he had players that really played his styles. He had Wesley Sneijder and Diego Milito, and he had these rough players that stuck in and played his style and how they wanted. He didn't inherit that at United.
So he's only good if he gets the kind of, like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
right, but he hasn't had superb players. He built a Chelsea team with Duffy and Shevchenko. Like he helped to get them back on. So he has built that in a way, but he's not known for building it with young talent.
In a world where clubs want fun, sexy, progressive football to sell jerseys and make money, is Mourinho outdated?
Yes, yeah. I think
I agree.
Yes, I think at this point he is, and I think newer, updated, whatever managers have figured that out and have figured a style to play against him. And I think where Mourinho's calling now is international, to an international team, Portugal. It's a team, that's his, where you have a little bit more time and you can methodically think out and prepare for big games, which is what he can do still. He can still prepare for big games.
Yeah, that would him being on international would certainly be interesting, because if you judge by his longevity at any particular club, he wouldn't make it one World Cup cycle.
Yeah, true.
You know, his
yeah, but you're not playing as many games in those 3 seasons, right?
That's what's interesting, right? Like ton of trophies or being loved like Sir Alex Ferguson, or like, do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like he'll never have that.
But you're not going to get to that Sir Alex.
Well, we just said like Wenger was the last of those.
I think it's a little
long-running coaches. Sorry, in that vein, yeah.
I think it's also people are still. I don't think it's fair. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't think it's fair that people are comparing Manchester United now to the Alex Ferguson days, because of a number of factors. One, football is way different now.
More money. Everybody's got more money.
Yeah. Two, the front office, way different. The mentality of the front office here
David Gill with him
is not
which
the
was
same,
huge.
Right? So I don't think it's fair to compare any of the managers after Alex Ferguson with Alex Ferguson.
Well, let me compare for just a second here. ESPN FC put something out. Fergie versus his successors in the Premier League. And these numbers are actually shocking. 21 seasons for Sir Alex. 13 titles. 0.756 win percentage. Only 34 home losses in 21 seasons. Worst finish, third in 21 seasons.
That is awesome.
Compared to the past 6 seasons with 3 different managers, David Moyes, Louis van Gaal, and Jose. 6 seasons. 0 titles, 0.522 win percentage, 16 home losses. Nearly half at what Sir Alex had in 21 seasons. Worst finish, 7th. Like, those Fergie numbers are, you're not going to get, like, that's, though you're right, those days are well past, times have changed, he got out when it was right, but those numbers are still staggering.
Well, we said it, like when Arsene was gone, that's it. That you're not going to see. Pep Guardiola isn't going to be at Man City for 20 years.
No,
it's not those long stretches aren't going to happen.
Right, but Arsenal, for all we can understand this year, have made a good decision in a positive way. Moyes wasn't that. Well, Moyes was kind of going backwards. Right. Yes, he did well with Everton. He was at Everton for 10 years, got him into Europe, but never got past that 6th place. That's worst finish 7th. That's what you get when you bring in a Moyes, and that's how you start the next run. And you can see, the players weren't. Yes, Sir Alex left with some players that were aging and it was outdated, and you need to revamp the squad. And Moyes had a little bit of a bad hand to him, because you never following that's always going to be tough, and he didn't get any signings in besides Fellaini. So yeah, there's a lot of those things, but still the decisions haven't been necessarily positive. And I go back to a point that I just said when Ron was talking. When Sir Alex left, David Gill left. And him and David Gill knew how to get deals done for what Sir Alex wanted. He got them done. He got the RVPs. He got the Ruud van Nistelrooys. He got the Vidiches and the Ferdinands. He got those deals done. Can Ed Woodward get deals done?
Not so far.
He can buy Angel Di Maria, but he's not going to fit into anything of what the style is at United.
Well, and when you hired José Mourinho, don't be wrong, you hired the special one who, as we just said, comes in and wins. But that's not a Man United style coach.
Right, which is almost, I don't bash the hiring of Jose, because his first season was successful, all things considered. Yes, we weren't higher up the league, but we did get back in Champions League via a Europa League win. We did win the League Cup and the Community Shield. I don't consider that a third title, but he does. So, and again, we did get back in the Champions League. Yes, I think we finished like 5th or 6th that year, but by winning the Europa League, we did get in. So I don't think the hiring was there, because I do think we needed somebody of his ilk at that time, because he still was, and still probably is, one of the biggest name managers in the world. Who else were you really going to bring in at that time? maybe an Ancelotti, maybe God, who else would have even been available at that time?
It's just crazy.
At the time, yes, I there was a lot that did not agree with it. I thought it was a good signing. If he can do what he did at Chelsea and bring that to United, absolutely. And he tried, but those times I think are just past him.
He also brought in players that just disappeared. Alexis Sanchez, Pogba, like people that...
Van Gaal did the same thing.
No,
Di
that's true
Maria,
too.
Falcao, Schneiderlin. That was all Van Gaal.
You didn't have your keeper?
De Gea? Yeah, but De Gea was signed by who and when?
I don't know.
Sir Alex.
Well, see, there you go. Well, and Jose's problem has always been cultivating young talent. That's never been a thing he'd done.
Right, and I think he's done... no, you can't say that. Because, yes, Rashford, Shaw, McTominay are first-team players, but has Rashford reached anywhere near his potential? Yes, he's very, very young, but no. Shaw's kind of back on an uptick, but you had to break Shaw all the way down just to get him back up. So it's like...
I'm very excited to see what your interim coach does. Because you'll find out how much Jose it is. They might struggle a match or two out, but if they start to open up and you got guys that can friggin' score, you know what I mean? Instead of sitting back and playing that park the bus thing.
So it's funny you say
if
that.
they cut that loose, it's Jose. Do you know what I mean? Like,
right.
It makes it real clear.
It's funny you say that. So okay. So back it up just a hair here. So yes, 2 days after that, on the 18th, Jose was sacked. The third manager since Sir Alex. An intern was then going to be named until the end of the season, and then a full-time manager brought on sometime in the summer or following the season, is what the club basically came out and said. So a day after the sacking, they named club legend Ole Gunnar Solskjaer as the interim manager for Manchester United. Legend at the club, scored that famous goal in the 1999 UEFA Champions League against Bayern Munich in like the 93rd minute to win 2-1 and complete the only treble that we've seen in English football. Champions League, FA Cup, league title. So, club legend. More importantly, though, he will be joined by Mike Phelan, who was side by side with Sir Alex throughout a lot of his years. He's brought back to the club to be with them. Also be joined by Michael Carrick and Kieran McKenna. Solskjaer for United scored 118 goals in like 300 some games. That's a lot of freaking goals. And I don't know if you guys saw this tweet that I shared the other day, but I thought it was brilliant. Somebody put on that he came to us from, what's the club? Molde in Norway, who he's won a couple of league titles with there. I think they're like second, and they're on their end of the season winter break, so they don't start back up again until March. But he's on the training pitch in a clip, and all he's saying to his players is, shoot. You can't score if you don't shoot. Shoot the ball. You're passing to him. Shoot the ball. And he's just walking around pointing at people. You can't score if you don't shoot. Shoot. And he's just talking to his players on the training pitch.
He needs to go to Orlando City.
Well, no, but that's... Yes,
he's right.
That shows what he could possibly bring to United.
And that's what United is used to in the Alex Ferguson era.
His years.
Yes. Is that biting, attacking style, which they have not had since Fergie left.
Right. And
do you think he could be so good they keep him?
No.
You think he's definitely only interim?
I think he's a Band-Aid, which is not a bad thing in this case, because he's an opposite.
Okay,
he's covering.
Are we about to start? I think this is about to open a second portion of this can of worms where we start speculating on who could step in.
Yeah.
So I think we should do Ron's second beer.
You got me on a roll, baby. I was ready to go.
I know. And I was like, oh, you know, we're about to
talking about a club legend, 99.
We're
treble.
about to move into another phase. I could feel it. I was like, yeah, we should.
Yeah, that's good.
Do the other beer.
All
Thank
right.
you, Blake.
So the next one, Highway 6 IPA from Montheith Brewing Company in New Zealand along the West Coast. bursting with grapefruit and marmalade notes.
Whoa.
Marmalade.
They love their pale
Marmalade.
ales out there.
Yeah, it is a 5.4% ABV, and I've had it over there, so I'm really interested to see what you guys think of it. This is a good one.
Crack that bad boy open. Oop, oop, oop. You got a little carbonation.
Oh, I'm good.
All right. Let's see
You
what this
got
guy
carbonation today.
looks like. A standard pale ale, nice golden color. We got it. We have very similarly colored beers thus far in the pod.
Oh, look at that
This
head
one a
retention.
little clearer, maybe. Maybe a little clearer.
Take a whiff.
Whoa.
That marmalade.
And marmalade. Yeah.
Might have another, sir.
There you go.
God bless you.
This what kind of hops was this?
This one is,
back
well,
memories.
it doesn't give you the hop profile. It just says bursting with grapefruit and marmalade notes.
This smells of something we brewed before. The hop profile. It smells good. I mean, it's hoppy, but not. It's not near as floral as the last couple we've had.
Yeah, that's true. This one is obviously much more citrus.
All right, gents, let's try this one. Oh man, I'd
Launch
wait to talk all this with Ferris.
Highway 6 IPA.
What? What?
Is it that?
What?
That's
I can't. I don't have a thought yet.
it's an IPA. Is that what
I
you
need
said?
to try it again.
Highway 6 IPA.
It does not taste like an IPA at all.
I don't know what to call that aftertaste. Mind you, I do not mean to infer it is bad. This just tastes unlike anything else. I mean, I'm getting a lot of bitter now on the back of my tongue after I've stopped for a second, but
Really? I'm not getting any.
there is a hoppy beer
Well, maybe a little bit
buried in there. Yeah, you got it. It takes
Yeah,
a bit.
maybe a little bit
It's
there.
a
Yeah.
slow. It's like if you like a slow smoky Chipotle that kind of only hits you later with the heat. Like it's kind of like that with the bitterness. It takes a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
The
got
aftertaste is real different.
it's got quite a it doesn't have a lot of malt, but it's got a rich malt flavor.
Mm,
Yeah.
You know,
Bou-
it's not
bougie malt.
pinkies out, everyone.
Yeah. It's meteor. It's got a meteor
Yeah.
malt vibe to it.
And I think that's mostly, I don't know, Cascade hops.
It's real different. It's
Doesn't,
good.
it doesn't taste like an IPA to me, though.
I like the last one better.
Yeah.
Would agree.
It's good. No, it doesn't. It's so weird that bitterness shows up later because it's not that hoppy when you're drinking it.
Well,
Yeah.
it almost tastes like a stronger lager.
I said Pilsner Urquell earlier, but this one actually does taste like a hoppier Pilsner Urquell. It's got that kind of that thick mouthfeel lager, that's not a light one, not crisp isn't the word, but it's got that kind of grassy vibe to it, That's very different. Okay, so kind of moving on to I don't think anybody thinks this is anything more than an interim. Unless you guys manage to get the top four. Then I think I'll offer it to him.
Well, I think either way, the goal is to get in top four. So even if we get top four, I think there's a bigger plan there, which we'll get to in a second. But he's great. He is a Band-Aid. And a Band-Aid is not a bad thing in this. You need somebody opposite. I think he's going to bring that. He's going to bring back a little bit more of that jovial, fun, player manager, attack, shoot mentality to what United can bring. You might see a very attacking, completely different lineup when they play Cardiff City on Saturday. You might see Pogba in there. If Sanchez is fit, you can see him back in there. You could see a very different look from United. I really don't know. I've not followed up and done a little bit of research on how he plays with his oldie team in Norway.
Well, 'cause, dude,
but he's done very well with them.
We were talking about picking up a club right as the 40-match festive fixture kicks in.
And we're getting into a good run,
That's
which is another
crazy.
why the decision was made was because we're getting into a good run. We have like Cardiff City, Newcastle, maybe not Newcastle, Huddersfield. Like we have a good run in the next few games. Fun fact: Cardiff City is actually the last time Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was in the Premier League. He managed them for about a year in 2014, and he did not do so well. He only went 9-5-16 in 30 matches and saw the sack. In fairness, at the time, this is when Cardiff went back down to the championship before they're now back up, which was a few years in between here. So they went down to 14, came back up obviously this past year, and he was handed kind of a sinking ship as is anyways and tried to make the best of it. But yeah, that's the only time he's been back in the Premier League. He has coached at his he was coaching at his club that he grew up with and played at, Molde in Norway from 2011 to 2014, Cardiff City 2014, and then has been there since 2015 in Norway. Again, they're on a break till March. Don't know if he'll go back in March or anything. No indications that he will right at first, but he's a Band-Aid to a cut, a deep cut that Man United had. And I think he will close that cut. He will close that gap a bit and at least bring back a little bit more entertaining style. If we don't get in the top four, but the remainder of the year is attacking, we're scoring 2, 3, 4 goals a game, and maybe we lose to Arsenal 4-3 or something, that's going to go off a lot better than parking the bus like we just did in Anfield and still getting beat 3-1 in a dominating fashion. We have talent. We're still in sixth. We don't have a Fulham team. We don't have a Southampton team. There are Pogba won the damn World Cup in the summer. The guy knows how to play football. He does. Is he the most professional off the field? Maybe not. You can argue that. He changes his hair every 10 minutes. He dabs on Instagram 13 times a day. Whatever, okay? But he knows how to play football. Martial knows how to play football. Sanchez knows how to play football.
Pogba, I like all that Pogba stuff, though. That's because that makes it fun.
Yeah, I agree.
That's why I don't like the NFL, the No Fun League. I like all the personality. Like, let it happen.
And
man.
I think you'll see that more. It will be very interesting. And I'm actually not able to watch the game live. I'll have to watch it a little bit later that afternoon. But I'm very excited to watch this game because I want to see the change of lineup. I want to see if the players really react to a change of the attitude. Yeah. I just want to see it. Even if it, this can go horribly wrong. He could lose all 5 games in this 40 match and whatever, and then it's like, well, but I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. He has a good run here. He's bringing in a little bit of positivity. I watched a little bit of the first interview. A smile on his face the entire time. You can just tell there's a little bit different mentality. He's also, again, a legend at the club. The players are going to respect him.
Nothing to lose, either.
And he has Mike Phelan by his side.
Right.
He's a player's manager and first team coach. He is. He gains just as much respect out of the club and the players and gets it as a 118 goal scorer for Manchester United does. I think this was a good move. I really, really do. And I think that it then allows us to take time to the end of the year.
So,
real quick before we get to who's stepping in and the postulation of that, right?
Might be stepping in, right.
Real quick, what do you think needs to change front office mentality wise? Because you've hired 3 managers in the past 5 years, 6 years, something like that. And by and large, you've had an average success in the Premier League specifically. Yeah. So what do you think from the front office standpoint, what mentality needs to change or what personnel needs to change in order to make that a little better?
This is Ed Woodward's last chance, I think. Now, it comes kind of a double-edged sword because he produces profits for the club on the financial aspect, but he's a financial advisor.
Welcome he plays to the last 10 years of being an Arsenal fan.
Yeah. Well, commercially, he has made that club
right. The Glazers love that, and there is talk that the Glazers may be trying just to sell the club because they're kind of done with it and whatnot. But that's whatever. But I think this is his last chance, just like a GM in football or hockey or whatnot. Once you start to bring in a few managers and you start firing those head coaches, sooner or later, you keep firing more. Who's hiring them?
Yeah, the old adage, you keep pointing fingers, eventually there's no left to point.
Usually, at least what we've seen in the States, you try to hire a 4th manager in your time, the GM goes as well.
Right.
He's not a GM. He's whatever. I don't remember what he's at. I think so. This is his last chance. He needs to bring in somebody that is a David Gill. He needs to bring in somebody that is over the football operations. He needs to finance it. He needs to figure out how we finance it. He needs to provide that, continue the commercial support, the sponsorship support, but use that to figure out how we can then fund the football operations.
He's the executive vice chairman.
Sure he is. So bring a director of football in, or a GM, whatever you call it over in England, which I think is a director of football. Bring somebody in like that knows the game. Do I think they'll do that? I don't know. I don't. I think if Ed Woodward realizes, okay, at this point, I'm about to hire my fourth, let me hire a director of football first and then go from there. Now, I do think this is a smart move, again, to bring in a club legend to put a Band-Aid over this big wound that we have. I think it's smart. I think it's smart to kind of come out immediately with the plan. What I mean by that is there was no Jose sacked, we'll work to find a manager as soon as we can. It was Jose sacked, we will name an interim to go to the end of the year, and then we will name a full-timer.
It's got to be a lot easier for Manchester United to grab an interim than many other clubs in the sense of,
but it also makes you think that he was named the next day.
Which means that plan had been being formulated.
Exactly. So again, a plan in place. I'm fine with that. What I don't like, and sometimes, and we've seen it with our own hometown club, is you fire and you don't really have a plan after that. It's
or our men's national team.
Yeah, a bit, yes.
A bit. 8 months?
A bit, yes. But
our definitions of a bit are a lot different.
Okay, the same. Fine. But like Orlando City was like, we fired somebody. Hey, we'll do a press conference before a game to tell you that we're still searching. Like there was none of that. That's,
that was a dumb press conference.
This was a plan in place. And I think it's smart because the options that we that have been talked about and are the big names out there are what intrigues and has to excite United fans the most.
So, well, on that note, because I don't want to run the pod too long, so I don't think we should discuss these particulars too crazy, because I think we're going to have the opportunity to do this as we go forward. Right. I just want to kind of get your take. So I'll throw out names.
Cool. Do it.
Zinedine Zidane.
Yes.
Do you think that that's a real possibility?
Yes, I do.
Do you rank it as one of the top possibilities? Like
yes,
that's the one that's going to happen?
Not the one that's going to happen, but yes, I do.
What do you think, Ron?
I think it's a brilliant move if they could land
fun
it.
Attacking football.
Yeah, he will attract big name players.
Yep.
He attracts the Neymars of the world. He'll attract all of that.
And he can teach them a fine Italian style headbutt.
Yes, he can.
And he can show Fellaini how to properly cut off all that damn hair. Shave that bad boy.
I guess another name that people are flinging about, Pochettino.
Hold on. Yeah.
Sorry.
Let the presenter do his job.
I'm sorry.
You're so excited about that.
Here we go. Number 2.
Anything to perk something away from Tottenham over there.
Number 2, Mauricio Pochettino.
Yes.
What do you think, Ron?
I don't think he's going to go.
I think, here's my take.
Potter wants it, though.
I think he is the answer for a long-term future, which is different than them actually getting him right now.
Which is why they're not.
Sure.
And you're not going to poach him away in mid-season. You could poach him away in the summer.
Well, nobody's getting cash. They've got an interim. That's why they're doing that. They're not going to poach.
No, right.
Yeah. But
that's what I'm saying.
I think this is crazy because if Manchester United comes to you, how do you say no, right? It's got a dream, right?
He wants it too.
However, you have a club in a position right now. You're doing well in the Champions League. You have a rough draw. But you're doing great in the Premier League. You're in a year where amazing clubs in Liverpool and Man City are above you. But hey, last year we thought, man, who would ever top Man City? Hell, look at Liverpool right now. But that could be Tottenham next year.
That can always be Tottenham, though. That's the issue.
True, but
always could have been.
This
could be United, though, too.
Gotten better and better. It's just a tough spot for him.
Sure, without question.
Because Tottenham, let's be fair, at some point, the nation of Great Britain has got to quit treating Tottenham as though they are this underdog team in the top 6 because they're there. Okay. I mean, they have really established themselves.
The flip side of that is What if Tottenham won?
Zilch.
Nothing. Zero.
No, you're sure. I'm with you. I mean, like, it's also been a long time since Liverpool's done anything. You would never thought their stretch would have been that long. But you watched, Klopp each year get better. Pochettino, we all said, it's crazy. They're going to be terrible this year. They didn't hire anybody. Or actually, they'll be really good. Now, have they dropped some games and stuff? Sure. I mean, but I don't know. Pochettino one's interesting. I do think in the future, though, a couple more years and then go to Man United. I don't know.
I'm on two sides of that. I'm on two sides of that coin at the same time. Right. One, I think he could do wonderful things for Manchester United. One of the reasons I think he would take the leap is that at Tottenham, he is being paid almost a third less than the rest of the top 6 managers. And at some point, let's be honest, while yes, Tottenham have not won anything, he has pulled them out of the generally Spursy self or characteristic and has put them in a much better place. He's built a lot at Tottenham, and no one can dispute that. However, he's not getting paid very well.
So he's going to ask himself, am I going to get?
This is
I'm going to get paid what I'm worth.
Potentially an opportunity to make that happen.
Right. And then the follow-up real question is, does he yank Harry Kane with him when he goes?
I think Tottenham, he's a Spurs boy. I think no.
I think the allure of winning a
I'll take Son over Kane.
I think Harry Kane stays at the Spurs unless he goes to like a Real Madrid or Barcelona or something. I don't think it'll be in the Premier League. I just don't think
it's fair.
Who?
Kane? The Kane.
Yeah, I agree.
That's just fine.
On kind of the same ilk, outside shot, but somebody that I would love to see in there as well.
You messing up my list here?
Oh, sorry. You're right.
No, go ahead.
No.
Maybe he's on the list.
I'm not going to pull her on. I'm not going to pull her on.
Relax. Hold it in the back of your head just in case.
All right, go ahead.
He might be on this. Didier Deschamps.
Ooh, wasn't expecting that
he's
one.
He's the 49-year-old led France, second World Cup.
No.
Pogba certainly plays really good with him. Just saying.
No.
It's out there. These are top ones that are kind of on the like bookies and stuff that, right?
No.
Laurent Blanc, with the other France international manager.
Possibly, but he kind of imploded at PSG.
He did, but he also played at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he did.
Played for Man United.
He was in the back there. But imploded at PSG with some bigger name talent there.
He won 11 trophies in 3 seasons.
Proud of him.
So
yeah. I could see him right now. He would be. He's probably. I mean, in the. He's probably in. He's in the top 5 or whatnot.
I got one more.
Okay, shoot.
Ryan Giggs.
No.
Yeah, I don't think that one either.
He's just not.
Who's the outside one you're gonna throw out?
Eddie Howe.
Yeah, no. I think Arsenal or a Tottenham
cultivate young talent.
Take a chance like that before Man United is. I think
plays that expansive style winger play up the side.
Man United's fans would
best of what he
friggin'
has.
revolt if they got a replacement for what they consider such a small and insignificant club. I think they would revolt.
I don't think it would go over as well, but I think it wouldn't. I don't think it would be a bad choice.
He doesn't play a bad style ball.
He plays it the 90s Old Trafford style of ball.
Yeah.
But he knows how to get the best out of the talent that he has, and especially young talent.
But what I don't think he has is that push of celebrity manager.
Yeah, we don't know if he can
see that.
Right.
Yeah.
Fitting
Pogba.
Right. Well, not only that,
which Pochettino's kind of gotten there now.
But fitting in with Woodward's commercialism of that club with high profile names for managers.
Yeah.
I don't think he fits that.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree.
If you're going to take
on the commercial aspect, absolutely not. Not that sexy manager that's going to draw in players like a Poch will.
Ancelotti?
Ancelotti already has a club right now, doesn't he? So does Pochettino.
What is that? So, what does it matter when it's Man United?
Sure.
Yeah.
No. Ancelotti I think's done with England.
And 5,000-1 odds. Arsene Wenger.
Oh God,
I knew that one was coming.
That would be hysterical.
Actually, if United hire him, the first match there'll be a Wenger out signs everywhere, plane flying overhead.
There was a quick split of a second though when they said they're going to look for an interim.
No
And I thought
chance.
Sir Alex
No
Ferguson might
chance.
ask him to do that. They get along each other for an interim.
No chance. No chance. No chance.
God, that would be so
hysterical.
funny.
No chance.
Because man, could you imagine how just
It would be Wenger. Guaranteed.
spectacle
Guaranteed.
that would be?
I think an Eddie
Who
Howe,
cares if he
though,
wins the first game? There's still Wenger out signs. They wouldn't even matter.
I think Eddie Howe has greater things ahead of him in his future, but I think an Arsenal or a Tottenham or
Well, and
or
you could see
an Everton jump on him before a
could
Man
see-
City, a Man United, or like a Liverpool do.
Yeah, you could see a Poch go to United and then Howe backfill him there at Tottenham. You could.
Man, yeah, if you emptied Pochettino out of there, they're the right kind of players that are there right now. I think would pair with Eddie Howe better.
It's a lot better quality than that of the Bournemouth players. Yeah.
Well,
But you never know, man. Hey, look, Unai Emery was not like huge on the list at this time.
yeah.
With the arson situation, he was kind of not really. I don't think that was like on the top 5 people going for. It took a while for that one to kind of come to fruition.
Right.
And things are, turning out well.
Yeah, United
There
have a
might
little
be-
bit more backing behind them on
Sure.
who they can
But
get away.
Well, and it's also who's available. I mean, having Zidane
And you
available now.
and you have to get that one. You have to get this
Who
one
was
right.
the one the 2 Robbies threw out too? The Dortmund's coach who's killing it right now.
Oh, not Thomas Tuchel. He went to PSG.
They're doing
Give me a
great right
second.
now. Dortmund.
Top of the league. They play Borussia Mönchengladbach tomorrow at 2:30. Looking
So
forward to
they threw that one out, but it's just I know we'll have a while to discuss this, which kind of makes it
Right.
fun that they're not saying anything now.
One thing,
Lucien Favre.
Who's your gut call right now?
Watch.
Who's your gut call right now?
Zidane.
Matt,
I think it's Zinedine Zidane to
Hey.
watch 3 years later.
2-1 takes it. I will take the head button Frenchman. No problem with that, man. No
I
problem with that
think
at
they
all.
will come hard after Poch, just like other clubs did for Harry Kane. But there's something that tells me that
Will Daniel Levy give up Pochettino? That's the question. And what Tottenham said, they're not going to be playing in the new stadium until by the end of the season or until all of next season.
Next season.
I thought they just said in 2020.
no. I thought they just said that.
Or no, we're going into 2019.
I thought there was a chance that
What year are we
the
on?
Champions League in February could happen.
That's
there.
what I thought. So
Yeah.
if Poch opens up the new stadium, then who cares? It's going to be open for us. So as long as he opens up the stadium, I think that's enough for Daniel Levy to say, okay, well, now you can take him. Just pay us.
Maybe, okay, they're not going to win the Premier League, Tottenham. But
Probably not.
I think this conversation changes depending on how, let's say they have a decent run in Champions League. They get past Dortmund. I don't think they will. But
I mean, if he wins, if he wins Champions League, then he's definitely coming to United. He gone.
and then
it'd be interesting to see.
Harry Kane might go. Because then he's,
I agree with you from the statement. I don't think he goes anywhere that's in the MLS. He's like a Steven Gerrard. He won't. He lives and breathes that club.
that Kane won't go anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think he will either. Okay. We're running a little long. I don't go too heavy in this. Wait a minute. Do we have one more beer, Ron?
We do.
Oh, crap.
A celebratory beer because Don Garber listens to the pod.
Yeah, it turns out the MLS listens to the MLS. It's MLS. MLS listens to the pod because we really complained about the playoffs last pod, and
The past 3 or 4 pods.
the news broke that the playoffs have changed. Do we want to do the last beer?
Yeah, real quick. The Tottenham official opening is not supposed to be until the first competitive game is in 2019. They haven't released a date.
So if it could happen for the Champions League, that would be awesome.
So then he's gone, Summer. Welcome to United. Pochettino.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think it's
Another
Zidane.
person that doesn't quite have the star power.
Oh, but he's gained it now with Tottenham.
Guys, I just
He's
want
not there.
LVG back.
Well, true.
I want to see him get. I want to see
Get
him.
a shot again on the sideline.
We had LVG and José Mourinho in a row. I need some more entertainment.
So great.
I need entertainment
Poch is
back.
boring.
Who's gonna take over the dramatic role of quote the special one in the league now?
I don't know. I'm really sad
We're gonna have all happy, peppy.
because he ain't going back to Premier League. Jose's done.
He's got to be moving on. But now we have all happy, peppy, fun managers is in the top there. So that's going to be weird. No drama.
Drama.
Well,
Last beer. Here we go.
Another one from Montheith.
Montheith's Brewing in
Pale ale?
It is Pointer's Pale Ale, refreshing 5-hop New Zealand Pale Ale, a 4.2%
Ooh, it's like a session one.
ABV.
A New Zealand Pale Ale.
Yep.
So New Zealand hops.
Let's crack this bad boy
All
open.
right, man.
Shall we start on the... Ooh, it's going up again.
Yeah, pour. Oh, no.
fine.
You're okay. You're okay. I thought I was about to go.
Yeah, I did too.
All right. So this, what was this one called again?
This one is Pointer's Pale Ale.
Pointer's Pale Ale.
Point me in the right direction.
This is the lightest pale ale we've had. This
Oh,
is
yeah, by
very,
far.
very light straw colored. A little thicker than the other ones in terms of not as clear. Ooh, smells good. Different hop profile that I'm used to. Ron, did we ever brew with anything? We did some Australian hops. That Falconer's IPA.
Yeah,
right?
that was the Falconers.
I don't know if we did anything from New Zealand.
Ooh. Yeah, it smells
Smells
like
good.
a lager than
Man,
anything.
we've got some good variety today.
Well, all in the pale ales.
Man.
All right.
All right, gents.
Sláinte.
Slanja. We got them to change the MLS playoffs.
Yeah, we did. Congrats.
Good job, Don Garber. Ooh.
Oh, what?
Oh.
We might have ended it on one of the better ones.
I was about to say, this is
Yeah.
probably my, yeah.
I did that on purpose.
I did like that Decatur one too.
The goose of Decatur.
This is good,
Lovely.
man.
Crisp.
It's definitely a session pale ale. It's not too
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's 4.2% ABV, but like so it doesn't have that like real heavy feel that
No, not at all.
like
Yeah.
5 or 6 or
Light
will
and
have.
crisp.
Yeah, this is much more of a crisp one. A unique blend of 5 New Zealand hops.
This is hiking around the hills and having
Yeah.
some pints, man.
Very aromatic.
Aromatic, the man said.
Aromatic.
We're getting fancy over here.
Pinkies out,
Pinkies
everyone.
up. All right. So MLS has changed their playoff system.
Woo! Finally.
So
Well done. Lovely.
here's a question.
Finally.
I think we all know that we didn't like it,
Yeah.
but I didn't hear a lot of other, big time professional pundits. Like, I didn't hear a lot of complaints about it. American soccer coverage is weird because, like, since ESPN shows MLS, they're not going to trash something, and since Fox shows, they're not
Yeah,
gonna, do you know
I
what I
think
mean?
it was just kind of one of those things like, oh, crap. It's just,
So
we all know. We all
which
need
is
to, yeah.
a very frustrating thing about soccer coverage in the States right now. That's kind of a tangent we can talk about later, but that in England, it's been around for so long, no one's worried about soccer going away, so they call it like it is. Whereas here, there's a bit of a feeling of like a reviewer reviewing a community theater show. They don't want to be jerks because they want people to volunteer and come out, right? So they're usually pretty nice. And sometimes I feel like we kind of get that vibe. And people should have really been trashing this situation. So anyway, MLS changes it. We no longer have 2-leg matches.
Correct.
And this really props up the person with the better home season.
Right.
Or sorry, the better record for the season gives them home advantage.
Correct.
Also, the top seeds get bye first.
Right. It is a fixed bracket, too.
Yes.
Fixed bracket.
So we can actually pick like we thought instead of the bracket changing.
Exactly.
Like every other American sport.
Correct. Yes. This is getting, if you want to be a little American with it, do it instead of the hybrid. This is the answer.
Yes. And it shortens the playoffs down by a lot. But
It finishes in 3 weeks now. And they're going to do it in that international
just shy.
gap.
Yeah.
With FIFA.
Just
Yeah.
like cuts off a whole load of time. So it's a fixed bracket, single elimination format with the higher seed hosting every match. Also, 14 of the league's 24 teams will qualify for the postseason, up from 12 in 2018 and years past.
Sox, we'd have made it in the playoffs our first 2 years.
Yeah, true.
Not last year. Not last year.
No. Only one team per conference will be given a first round bye. So that's going to be the first seed, obviously. Furthermore, there'll be no reseeding. So if the number 7 seed upsets the number 2 seed, they'll still play the winner of number 3 versus number 6, introspective of the other results.
Good.
All of this info is you can find is from MLSsoccer.com. 2 S's there, by the way.
This is great. This is a
It's
normal.
fantastic.
It's a normal
it
playoff.
makes sense.
It makes sense. It's done in 3 weeks.
Right. The only thing I don't know, and I have not been able to find anything on this yet, is where will that championship game be played? At the higher seed of either conference?
Or the better record.
Right. That was the only thing that didn't really say in this press release.
I'm going to assume at the current time it'll be better record. because that's how they.
But if that's the case, okay, fine. Again, that's at least consistent with what you're doing the entire tournament. Yep. It makes sense. You get it. Okay, fine, great. Now, the other thing with this, as we were saying just a little bit earlier, the playoffs will wrap up earlier than in previous years, with the entirety of the bracket being played out between the October and November FIFA international breaks. In 2019, following Decision Day on October 6th, the first playoff matches will begin being played on October 19th, with MLS Cup taking place on November 10th. What the what? Although the regular season will end earlier than in previous years, it will still start at the beginning of March, with the 2019 campaign slated to begin March 2nd. So, still the same start time, still kind of the same league, but instead of starting the playoffs in October like you've done, and then finishing in mid-December, or even, starting them in late September, early October, and finishing them in, again, December, it's now pretty much October, with the final being November 10th. First, full week. But yes.
But also,
yes.
It should be noted, the top seeds, it's not that they just get the first bye week, because Decision Day will end up being, for this coming year, on October 6th on a Sunday. That coming weekend of Saturday the 12th, there are no matches. The playoffs do not start until the following weekend. So that means if you
got almost like a 2 or 3 week break there.
If you are the top seed, you get 1, 2, you got a 2 week break before you got to start.
And it is
playing.
crunched perfectly in between the international breaks that are kind of set on the schedule there. Yep. Like if you look, again, if you go on MLSsoccer.com, they give a picture of the calendar and you're like, oh, wow, is this MLS Soccer? Like, that makes sense. I understand it. I get it. There's pictures. There's colors. It all makes sense.
It's the first useful thing on their website.
What the hell is going on?
It is weird, again, I will say, because you didn't hear a ton of rumblings about this and then go, oh, look, they listened to people. I felt like we were some weirdly the only people complaining about this. And there are other independent podcasts who do as well. But I just mean, like I said, your ESPNs, your Fox, your people that are doing all the coverage. They didn't really discuss it, but this is a huge step in the right direction.
Well, also,
absolutely.
They're not. Think about in a longer season, the ad revenue that these, like ESPN is making off of a longer season. They are not going to complain as long as the viewership holds up.
Right.
Yep. Right. So they don't care as long as they make their money, they don't care if the season's 3 months or, 12 months. So
because it's still got room to grow. Because I think
this is a super smart move.
Because I saw that the numbers for the MLS Cup just did beat the Chelsea Tottenham game.
Seriously?
Chelsea. It was some game that week and it just barely beat it.
In the U.S.?
Yeah. Okay. In the U.S., which is like, some people were like, well, see, you'll be like, you just barely beat a game that didn't, like, is like,
mid-season,
it wasn't like United and Liverpool or something like that. Do you know what I mean? But like, it might have even been like Chelsea and Cardiff, or I don't know. It whatever game you had around that time with Chelsea,
guys. More exciting though. Guess who announced that he will return, and then I think we'll get to see here in Orlando next year.
He built a shrine to him.
Oh, do you think we might actually get some Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
He's back next year for the next season.
Can you go if he's going to play? Is there a home game?
Well, we played LA away last year, which means we should play them home this year. And you know who else we should play home this year?
Game? I'm not sure.
Can we take me to this game?
Can you? Are you going to be okay?
Pitch Invader Ferris, here I come.
He's going to be the streak.
Yeah.
I will knee slide all the way to Zlatan just to pump up and then hug his.
Nah, he kicks you in the face. It's even better.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to cleat you in the face.
You're like,
take it.
Do you want to get those three cleat holes fixed? Nope.
Take it. That's a permanent tattoo, mother. God, I can't wait for Zlatan to be back. But that's awesome, yes. But a lot of just crazy moves so far. Keegan Rosenberry of Philadelphia was traded this past week. Like, go on the, again, MLSsoccer.com site, their news portion. A lot of moves being made here in the offseason, and I'm getting a little excited. The playoff is a positive move for him. Zlatan coming back. Orlando City's basically just clearing house, which is good. And
needed to.
bringing in players, bringing in some USL players this past week. Like,
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
good stuff happening in the MLS offseason so far. Excited for March. And the games were just announced today. The first home games for all clubs were just announced on
Who
March.
are we playing in Orlando again for
Take
first
a
time?
wild guess.
Is it NYCFC again?
17th year in a row.
It's crazy because we've only been around for 3, 4, whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of good buzz around the MLS right now.
Hey, I'll take it. This is a good,
Hell yeah.
positive change.
And it just proves that Don Garber listens to the pod.
Brewtiful Game, man. He listens to the pod. Thanks,
Hey,
Don.
you know what? Send us a tweet. We'll send you out a koozie.
Yeah, we'll send you a koozie, Don. Oh my God. Speaking of which, if you'd like a koozie,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you listen to the Brewtiful Game. Leave a rating review, take a screen grab, send it to us on social media or to our email, which is thebrutifulgame@gmail.com. We're on Twitter @BrutifulGame. We're on the Facebook. We're on Instagram. Follow us on Untapped, the awesome beer app where you can see what beers we're trying. Ron flies out to Japan right after Christmas.
Yep.
So
There's a surprise.
follow us there. So because there's always something interesting Ron to find overseas wise. And then we want to know what you guys are drinking too. I think that about wraps it up until is our next episode, our Boxing Day special.
Boxing Day.
Yeah. So we'll get some pies and we'll have some beers. And then
I'm actually got it off. Thank you, Mr. O'Hearn, for covering me.
we'll watch a bunch of Premier League and then we'll record an episode.
It's going to be
which
so
is
good.
our anniversary.
Christmas
because-
beers, exchange some gifts.
Right.
Yeah.
Our first pod was on the on Boxing Day.
Wait,
Remember?
what?
Our very first pod
No.
was the last day of Premier League. Oh no, it was last day of
Live
Premier
for
League.
Premier
Yeah.
League, not Boxing Day.
Sorry, I thought I was
Sam's tonight.
something about pies.
God, such a dad.
Something about pies. Yeah, I am. I'm tired. So my brain's not working.
You gotta end it on a
Send us
joke.
off, right?
That's right. Time
Send
for a
us
dad
off in
joke.
style.
All right. As we always do, at least until we run out of jokes in this book and I have to go find another one. In the pod strong with a good old dad joke. What?
This doesn't bode well.
This is so not good. I'm doing it.
Are any of them good?
Number 113. Why was the dad arrested for hanging around too long at the circus? For loitering within a tent.
We need another one. That's bad. That's real bad.
That's like lowest of the low.
real bad.
And it's also, you got to really
Real
think
bad.
about that one. So, okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay, I got one.
Finally.
I got one because I always read some of this gentleman's fine literature, especially his holiday literature, which he wrote more than just Christmas Carol every year. What does Charles Dickens keep in his spice rack?
I don't know.
Just two things. The best of times, the worst of times.
The best one. The best one. Well done. That's probably the most clever.
That's a good one.
Good one in that book.
And we'll let Charles Dickens take us out to say, Happy Christmas, everybody. Happy holidays. Because when next we pod, it'll be the day after.
Crazy.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Be safe.
Happy holidays, y'all.
Happy New Year's. All right, gents. Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Jose, we still love you.
We're going to miss you so bad.